volunteer. So is there anybody in here who has chronic pain anywhere in your body? Okay, 2 people, okay, and what's your name?
Chris.
Chris, and where do you hurt?
Huh?
Where do you hurt?
From my knees to my shoulders.
From your knees to your shoulders, okay, pretty comprehensive. Have you had any accidents or anything like that?
Just had numerous surgeries over the years.
Okay, you're Chris, right? Okay, and what was your name, sweetheart? Cassie. And where do you hurt?
Low back pain.
Low back pain. Okay. All right. I'm going to try and address both of you. Okay. And all right, Chris, would you come down here? So, we're going to thank Chris for being our volunteer. So, all right. So first, just stand there and let everybody look at you. All right. So can you tell us? So you've had a number of surgeries, right? What kind of surgeries have
I've had meniscus repair. I've had 4 ACL surgeries, scar tissue removed from both knees, and a lower lumbar 3-level fusion.
you had? Oh my goodness. Okay. Bless your heart. Okay. Now, how old are you?
40.
40. Okay. And I'm 59. I'll be 60 in March. So to me, that's still pretty young, right? And one
Young,
youngish. Right? So one of the things that we have to understand is that we can't just assume that because somebody's young, that doesn't mean they're not in pain. All right, so I'm going to use you as an example to talk about diet, right? Okay? All right. Now, the first thing is if somebody comes to me who has chronic pain, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to teach them how to eat to get out of pain. Now, so this is going to be really useful information. And the thing, so again, you may want to take notes on what I have to say. So the first thing to understand is that if someone is in pain, that means they have inflammation. So if you have anybody who has any diagnosed illness with itis at the end of it, like arthritis or colitis, that means they have inflammation. Does anybody know anyone who has arthritis? Okay, lots of people. Do you have arthritis? Yes. Have you been diagnosed with arthritis? Okay. And so any kind of itis. Now, this is my 8th book, and my 8th book is about how to get out of pain naturally without drugs. And part of the reason that I wrote it is that in the United States today, the leading cause of death is now drug overdose. So it's very important for those of you who are studying. Is anybody in here studying to become a physical therapist or things like that? Yes? So you're learning this information to help people, and your work is really God's work because you're going to literally be saving people's lives. If you can teach people how to get out of pain naturally and help them get off drugs or stay off drugs, you're going to help them tremendously because the opioid drugs, they're gateway drugs for heroin. They cause depression, anxiety, and dementia and brain damage. So everything that you can do naturally is going to be helpful for people. So when I'm working with somebody who's got chronic pain, like Chris, I'm going to talk to them about their diet because we can take all kind of medications, but if you don't address the diet aspect, you're going to continue to have pain. So are you on any medication?
No.
No. Good job. All right. And all right. So pain is inflammation. Now, one of the things that we have to understand is that 70% of inflammation begins in your gut. Now, what's good about that is that when you understand this, how you eat can either heal you or make you worse, all right? So I came up with a little sentence that I use to teach people to get out of pain naturally. And then the sentence is, nobody nobody in their right mind eats cats. Right, wouldn't you agree? Nobody in their right mind eats cats, right? All right, so what are cats? So cats are pro-inflammatory foods. All right, so the more you eat of these foods, the more pain and inflammation you're going to have in your body. So the C in cat is caffeine. So I'm going to use Chris for example. Do you drink coffee, black tea, Coca-Cola, anything like that? Okay, good job. Awesome, great job. Okay, the A in cat is alcohol. Beer, wine. Okay, now, one of the things that I talk about is that I work with what I refer to as actual humans. And I'm a big believer in compassion for ourselves, compassion for other people. And a lot of this stuff, the cats taste good. So, may I ask some personal questions? Okay. And do you drink 14 or more drinks per week? No, good. All right. So technically, just so you all know, and these are all good questions that you want to be practicing to learn to talk to your clients, okay? Technically, if a person drinks 14 or more alcoholic beverages per week, that qualifies you as an alcoholic, okay? And if you're working with somebody who's got, alcohol addiction, then in addition to pain, they're going to have some other problems as well. All right? So, how often do you drink alcohol?
Maybe twice a week.
Twice a week, okay. And one of the things that I talk to people about is that this is not about being perfect. It's about lowering your inflammation naturally. And, somebody who's healthy, they may be able to get away with more CRAP in their diet, all right? But somebody who's in chronic pain may need to have less, right? Now, the T in cats is tobacco. Cigarettes, cigars, pipes, chewing tobacco. Do you do any tobacco? Good job, all right? And the S is sugar. Now, who in here doesn't like sugar? Right? We all like sugar, right? So how do you do on sugar?
Oh, I do great on sugar.
You do great on sugar.
We get along famously.
We get along famously. Okay, so I told this story to the previous class. So years ago, one of my long-term clients, she ate too much Halloween candy. Has anybody ever eaten too much Halloween candy? Like maybe that happened recently, I don't know. And in the past week maybe. And what happened to her, she ate too much Halloween candy and she developed a rash from head to toe. She went to the dermatologist, took drugs, nothing changed. So she came to me and I told her, I said, you're reacting to sugar. Now, if she ate even a little bit of sugar, she would break out in this horrible rash. Not only on her face, but like in her head and all over her body. It was extremely uncomfortable. So because she was having this horrible rash, she had to stop eating sugar. So she said she would never have believed it, but just by cutting the sugar out of the diet, which she had to do because of her horrible rash, she said all her little niggling aches and pains went away. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is, if you are in any kind of pain, do a 2-week experiment and read labels and get sugar out of your diet, okay? And a lot of people think, oh God, I could never do that. Well, again, sugar is highly addictive, and what's interesting about it is if you actually get it out of your diet, you won't crave it. Does that make sense? So I know you go, I'm not sure about that, but try it. And so I would recommend this. So cats, caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, all pro-inflammatory foods. And then what I call the friends of cats. Friends of cats, fried food, French fries, fried okra, fried chicken. How you doing fried foods? You get along well? Okay, so that could be an area where you could improve, okay? And then the last friend of cat is gluten, okay? And gluten grains are in all wheat products, all baked goods, cookies, cakes, muffins, donuts, all that stuff, pasta. And the thing about it is people say, well, you know, no doctor has told me I'm celiac, I'm not technically allergic to gluten. But in this country, when wheat is raised, at the very last part, it gets sprayed with Roundup, which is glyphosate. And glyphosate, depending on how you pronounce it, is a known carcinogen. There was a gentleman, you may have read it in the news, he was actually a gardener, and he won a lawsuit from Monsanto. I think he was awarded over $70 million, literally multi-millions of dollars, because he developed cancer from using Roundup. And yet this glyphosate is in all the foods that we eat that have wheat in them. And there was a study recently of breakfast cereals. Anybody in here eat cereal for breakfast? Okay, well, the study showed that every breakfast cereal they tested was loaded with glyphosate. And what do we feed our little kids for breakfast? Cereal that's loaded with glyphosate, which is a known carcinogen. So how do you do on gluten? Do you eat gluten?
I buy a spoonful. No.
Yeah. Do you eat wheat products?
No,
Not really? Okay.
Pasta, a lot of pasta.
A lot of pasta. So one of the things I would have you do is switch to a gluten-free diet and see if you don't feel better. So when I'm working with somebody with chronic pain, again, I'm going to talk to them about their diet, and I'm going to talk to them about reducing or eliminating their cats, okay? And a lot of times you don't believe how much a difference this can make until you actually do it, right? And let me ask you a question, Chris. On a scale of 0 to 10, just walking around on an everyday level, with 0 being none and 10 being, you know, check you in the hospital someplace, what's your normal pain level? 3 or 4. So a lot of people are walking around with low level pain, right? But that's going to be enough to affect your energy level, right? Make you distracted or tired at the end of the day, right? Sure. And so again, if you can work on your diet here, so again, I would have you reduce or eliminate that. Now, what do you eat that's anti-inflammatory? Several things that you can do that are anti-inflammatory. So anything that's anti-inflammatory is going to help you reduce pain. Fruits, veggies. You eat fruits and vegetables?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you eat 5 to 7 servings a day? Probably more. Good job. All right. Distilled water. Does anybody know who Alexander Graham Bell was? Yes? The inventor of the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell cured his own arthritis by drinking exclusively distilled water. Now, we all know that water is good for us, but the difference is that most water has particles in it. And distilled water is very, very pure, and it actually pulls toxins out of your body. It pulls toxins out of your joints. So if I'm working with any client who has arthritis or any disease with ending in itis, I'm going to have them drink a certain amount of water that has distilled water. And in Atlanta, you can get distilled water delivered. I have distilled water in my water bottle. And, but you can also buy gallon jugs of it at Publix, at Kroger, at Walmart, all over the place. So, you know, at least 20 to 40 ounces a day of distilled water. The other thing that's anti-inflammatory is good fats. So what are good fats? Yeah, avocado for sure. Coconut oil is the only oil that will withstand high heat cooking. Right? So if you cook on the stove and you cook something up high heat, the only oil that really you should be using is coconut oil. And coconut oil is antiviral and antibacterial. And then olive oil should be used at room temperature. Right? So again, with you, what I would do is I would start by asking you to make even small improvements on in your diet, right? And believe it or not, on this sugar thing, if everybody does an experiment where you get sugar totally out of your diet for 2 weeks, I have an eating plan in my office that I frequently give new clients, and it's kind of like a reset. You know how sometimes when your computer doesn't work, and you turn the darn thing off, and then you turn it on, and then it works again? I do a reset with people on their sugar, and I have them get all the sugar out of their diet for 2 weeks. And I've had clients who were going to the emergency room once a week with panic attacks, and when I get the sugar out of the diet, they stop having panic attacks. The average woman who gets sugar out of their diet will lose 5 to 8 pounds without changing, the number of calories that you eat. But the biggest thing is the improvement in your energy and the decrease in your pain. Okay, so, and you're in charge, but given the chronic low level of pain, I would have you work here. Is that helpful? All right, thank you so much. All right, and what was your name again? Cassie, will you come down and be my... All right, so we're going to talk to Cassie about her lower back pain. And we're going to use Cassie as an example, and I'm going to teach you more about how to read the body. Okay, I like your t-shirt. Okay, all right, so first just turn facing, okay, and just let your arms hang by the side, and just stand like you usually stand. All right, so, and tell me, where does your back hurt? Back through there. And have you had any injury or anything like that? You were in a car accident? Okay. And, okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. So I want you to turn around. Okay, with your back there. Okay. So, may I touch you? Okay. All right. So you have a spine, right? We know that. And your spine has different parts. The neck vertebrae or cervical vertebrae. Then you've got the thoracic spine. You've got 12 thoracic vertebrae. And then you have 5 lumbar vertebrae, okay, lower back. So your lower back is the width of your hand, okay? So everybody bring your hand out like that. All right, so your lower back supports 2/3 of your body weight. Now, just for the sake of argument, let's say you weigh 150 pounds. Well, that means that 100 pounds of pressure goes right here. So taking care of your lower back is super important, and understanding how your lower back works is really important. So 100 pounds of pressure right there on your, or basically 2/3 of your body weight goes right here, and then you have a sacrum right here. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you, because I already know what's going on with her, so I'm going to touch you, okay? So here's your lumbar spine, and this is your sacrum, right? Everybody know what your sacrum is? The large bones right here. So right here, where L5 and S1 comes together, this is what's called the sacroiliac joint. And I'm gonna kneel down in front of her, and I'm gonna put my thumbs right here, and I want you to lift the right knee up. Lift the right knee to your chest. Okay? Okay, and notice how she has trouble with her balance. Lift the right knee up, please, so that you can see that. Now she's doing it, but it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now lift the left knee up. Okay, all right, good. Now turn around. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture and explain to you all what is going on with Cassie? Cassie. I like it. With Cassie's back, all right? So, and I'm not a great artist, so you'll have to forgive me. All right, so you have a spine with vertebrae. Those are your vertebrae. Okay, and then you have a sacrum right here, which are these large bones. And then right here, right? So this, right here, this area is what's called your sacroiliac joint. Now this joint right here should move. And Cassie's SI joint is totally stuck, okay? Now, how did I know that her SI joint was totally stuck? So turn around again, have your back facing them. Okay, now what I did was, and I explained to you, I'm explaining to you what I did so you can do it with somebody else. I put my thumbs, I'm gonna kneel down so you can see me, on her L5S1. Can you all see me? See where I'm putting my thumbs? Yes, no? Yes, you can see that? Now lift your right knee up again. Okay? And you see how she has trouble with balance? And then lift the left knee up. Okay, and she's doing all this stuff to try and help. So her sacroiliac joint is totally stuck. Now, that joint is not moving. Now, when your SI joint is healthy, I should be able to put my thumbs right there, and when she lifts her knee up, my thumbs should move just a little bit, right? And hers is not moving at all. So what that means is that 2/3 of her body weight, when it comes right here, is jammed right here. So is that where you hurt? Pretty much, right? Okay, so I'm going to teach you an exercise. I'm going to teach you a couple of exercises to get the SI joint moving. So you know how when you want to get in your car, the first thing you got to do is unlock it? Or you go home, the first thing you got to do before you can get in the house, you've got to unlock it, right? So if you are working with somebody in low back pain, you will get absolutely nowhere in getting rid of their pain until you unlock their SI joint. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So if I could show you how to help somebody get out of low back pain, would that be useful information that you might be able to share? Okay? Now, step out of the way, and I'm going to get my yoga mat just to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. And I don't know if you all will be able to see or not, but I'm going to demonstrate the exercises first. I'm going to demonstrate one exercise at a time. And then I'm going to get Cassie to do them. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to actually do it up here, just so you can see a little bit better. All right? You're okay there? Who knows? Here, let me demonstrate first. So I'm going to be here just so you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by lying on my back with my knees bent. Can you see that? Yes? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to bring my feet as wide as my hip bones. Can you see that? Now, I'm going to straighten one leg out, and this opposite knee, I'm going to do a big movement just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to push the knee forward, but I'm going to make it a very small movement. I'm going to just push my knee forward and lower down. So this is called a Don Tigny mobilization, just like this. And I'm going to inhale and push, and exhale and lower. And I'm lifting my butt about 1/2 inch off the floor, just like that, okay? Inhale, push, exhale, all right? And I know it's not really big, but can you get up there? Or we can have you up here, which is good, okay, good. So Cassie's gonna lie up here, and we're gonna get you to start with your knees bent. Okay, good, and then walk your heels in towards your butt. Okay, good. Now I know you exercise. What do you do for exercise? Nothing? Walking. Okay, good. All right, I want you to straighten this leg out. So I'm going to teach you how you teach somebody how to do this exercise. So I'm going to have her get her heel in line with her hip bone. Can you see how her heel is in line with her hip bone? Yes? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand in the front. So Cassie, I want you to push your knee into my hand. Good. And then lower down. Now, that's exactly right, only I want you to make it smaller. So push your knee into my hand and lower. Good. Now I want you to breathe. Inhale, push. Exhale, lower. Keep doing that. Inhale, push, and exhale, lower. Inhale, push, and exhale, lower. Now I want you to actually use your breath. Inhale, push, and exhale, lower. Now I'm going to have her do this exercise 1 minute on each side. So Cassie, her SI joint is locked on both sides. Sometimes what happens with people is they're locked on one side but not the other, and I'll tell you the reasons. But in her case, her spine is completely jammed right there, so her pain is going to be at L5S1. okay? And that's where you hurt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and this is the easiest thing in the world, you just have to know what to do. And she's breathing and moving. Now, you know how, has anybody ever gone to a door that was stuck? Like, you know, it's been raining a lot and you come to a door and it's stuck. And you pull really hard on it, and the harder you pull, the more it sticks, right? But if you sit there and go, it comes out, right? So this is a mobilization exercise, and it's very much like that. You do it slowly and easily. So did that hurt? Does this hurt to do the exercise? No, it feels good, doesn't it?
You're going with it.
No. Okay, now I want you to bend the knees. Okay, so get your heel in line with your nose, straighten this, and your heel in line with your hip bone. Straighten this leg out. Okay, all right. Now push your knee into my hand and lower down. Now again, make it a small movement. Lift your butt about ½ an inch. Smaller. Smaller. Good. Now move with your breath. Inhale, push. Exhale, lower. Okay. So I'm having her do this exercise. It's called the exercise that she's doing is called a Don-Tigny mobilization. And it's going to help unlock this joint right here, the SI joint. And if you have a friend with low back pain, or family member with low back pain, or if you have low back pain, I would have you do this exercise first thing in the morning. Either do it in bed or get out of bed and do it first. Because as long as you're locked up here, you're going to have all that weight and all that pressure right here, and you're going to have low back pain. I've had clients, tiny little people, 90 pounds with rocks in their pocket, and if their SI joint is locked, they have low back pain. Okay, and you're breathing. So in a minute, what I'm going to have Cassie do is get up and walk around and just feel the difference. All right, good. Now I want you to pull the knees into your chest, okay, and then come off the table. All right, and I want you to walk around, and I want you to feel the difference in your lower back. Okay? Okay, so keep walking. All right, now when I'm working with somebody, after I give them an exercise, I usually have them walk around so that they can feel the difference and they can notice what happened, and it also integrates them. So tell everybody, what's the difference in how your back feels? Feels a lot looser. Does it hurt? No, doesn't hurt anymore. Okay, so just doing that one exercise, how much less is your back pain? Yeah. No, but how much? What percent less pain is there? 50% less pain, 80% less pain. Keep walking. Okay, one exercise for 2 minutes, and her back pain is 80% less. Okay, now when I'm working with people, I know, hundreds, maybe thousands of exercises. But when I work with people, I will give them as little as possible to make a difference, because if I give her like 100 exercises, she's not going to have time to do this. But if I could give her 1 or 2 exercises where she's going to cut her pain by 80% in like 2 minutes, would you be willing to do that every morning? Okay. And you understand why your back was hurting, right?
Yes.
All right, now let's just see what that did. So turn around. So now I'm going to check my work, and I'm going to see if that one exercise, the Don-Tigny mobilization, whether that got the SI working. And all right, lift the right knee up. Okay, and lower down, and lift the left knee up. All right. So now do it again. Lift the right knee up. Now, is it easier to balance?
Yeah.
And left knee up. Okay, so that's better. Now, one of the things, does anybody in here have any older relatives who have trouble with balance? Anyone? Yes? So who would these people be?
Grandparents.
Grandparents. So when your SI joint is locked up on one or both sides, those people have tremendous problem with balance. If you can't lift your knee up and keep your balance, one of the things where you have trouble with balance is actually on stairs, because you have to lift one knee up right? To go upstairs. So if I'm working with anybody who's got balance problems, I'm gonna make sure their SI joint is unlocked on both sides. And sometimes what happens is they're unlocked on one side but not the other. And the side where they're locked, they're gonna have trouble with their balance. Okay? All right, now, so 80% better, just doing that one thing. All right, I'm gonna show you next exercise because you're very stuck. And so I understand why your back hurt. So I'm going to give you a little bit more room over here. I'm going to demonstrate this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next exercise. So the first exercise we did was called a Don-Tigny mobilization. All right, the next exercise that I'm going to do is called a traction twist. And for her spine to be that stuck, I know that she's had low back pain for a long time, probably years, right? How many years have you had low back pain? 5 years? Okay. So if I could teach you these simple little exercises so that you know, that 5 years of back pain would go away, that would help, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then, all right, Don-Tigny mobilization. So first thing is, I'm gonna lie on my back. I'm going to pull my heels in towards my buttocks. I'm going to bring my feet as wide as my yoga mat. I'm going to flex my feet, and then I'm going to drop everything to one side. Now, it's very important that I get my knee in line with my nose. So I'm going to lift my knee up, my head up. I'm going to look at my knee. I'm going to make sure my knee is in line with my nose, because I'm using this lower leg, or this thigh, as a lever to help unlock my SI joint. I'm going to flex my feet, and I'm going to press my knee down as I draw my belly button back to the spine, and I'm going to just lie there, okay? All right, so your turn. So again, thanks for bearing with our makeshift massage sheet. With this over here. Hold on a minute, hold on. Okay. So how about there? So unlocking, line your back. Okay, good. Now first pull your heels in towards your buttocks. So when somebody's SI joint is locked up, they're going to have low back pain even when they walk. Does it hurt to walk? Not all the time, but some do, right? Okay, so even if she wanted to do something healthy for herself, like go for a walk, it's going to hurt when that SI joint is locked up. And so a lot of times when we're working with people and we go, hey, Cassie, you need to go to the gym and work out. And she's like, I don't really feel like it, because she's in pain. So you've got to help people get out of pain, and then they're more likely to be motivated to do good things for themselves, all right? Now, you're going to bring your feet as wide as your mat. Okay, now flex your feet, pull it towards your face. Okay, now drop everything over to the side. Okay, good. So you're dropping here. Now press your knee towards the ground and draw your belly button back to the spine. So pull your belly button, draw your belly button back to the spine. And what you'll notice is that the more that you draw your belly button back to the spine, can you feel how as you draw the belly button back to the spine, you're going to get more opening right here? Yeah. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. Okay, so tell them, how does this exercise feel?
I feel a lot in my quads.
Yeah, you feel it in your quads. So, and the more you flex your feet, keep flexing your feet, both feet. Both feet stay flexed. The more you flex your feet, the more you're going to open your hips. But you feel it back here, okay? And it feels really good back here, right? Okay, it feels good to unlock it. So I know, because even after, sometimes even doing the Don-Tigny exercise, her SI joint was still locked up. That's why I knew that she'd been locked up for a very long time. So keep flexing your feet. Okay, keep flexing your feet, keep pushing that knee towards the ground, and keep drawing your belly button back to the spine. And the more that you draw the belly button back to the spine, can you feel how more it opens up here? Yeah. Okay? All right, keep going. Inhale, exhale. All right, now come back to the center. All right, now have your feet as wide as your mat. Walk the heels in towards your buttocks. Flex your feet. Pull the toes from your feet. Now go the other way. All right? So push your knee towards the ground as you draw your belly button back to the spine. So this is called traction twist. And I'm gonna adjust you just a little bit. I'm gonna move that knee right here. Now keep pushing the knee down and keep pulling the belly button to the spine. Okay, and again, the more you draw the belly button back to the spine, the more that you're going to do that. Now, okay, so low back pain. Can everybody understand how if you're locked here and this area, these 5 vertebrae support 2/3 of your body weight? If you're locked up here and those vertebrae support 2/3 of your body weight, this is a very typical area for people to be in pain, like right here. Does that all make sense? And can you understand why it's so important to get that unlocked? Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that when you're dehydrated, a lot of people don't know this. When you're, okay, Cassie, let's come back to you. Okay, so pull in, and I want you to walk around. Walk around. I want you to walk around, and I want you to keep walking, and I want you to tell everybody what your low back feels like now.
More looser.
Feels looser, and what's the pain level like?
Like, what, 90% less?
Okay, so the first exercise made it 80% better. Now we're at 90%, and we spent a grand total of 44 minutes. 4 minutes, and we're 90% less pain, right? Okay, so come over here again, and now let's check to see if that second exercise. A lot of times when people have been chronically stuck, they need to do both exercises. The Don Tigney mobilization and the traction twist. So I'm going to put my thumbs at L5, S1. All right, now lift the right knee up. Okay, good. And that got it moving it again. And lift the left knee up. Now, can you see how it's much easier to balance?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's way easier to balance, right?
Yeah.
So one of the ways you can tell, again, all you gotta do is if you get with a friend, you put your thumbs right at L5S1 and lift the knee up. If they can't be there and hold that knee up for like a minute before you were really struggling. Okay, so just doing those 2 exercises got you 90% better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now another thing to understand, and this is really interesting, when your body is dehydrated, you literally pull water out of your bones. Okay, pull water out of your bones. A lot of people don't know that. You wouldn't have ever even thought of pulling water out of your bones. And so one of the important things, and I see Cassie hold your water bottle up. Okay, so Cassie is the poster child for good behavior as drinking water. So one of the simple things that you want to do when you have low back pain is you want to make sure that you're properly hydrated. So how much water do you drink?
I try to at least 4 of these a day.
You go, girl. Okay, so the more, when you're in pain, a real simple thing that people can do is simply drink water. And that's really, really important. Anybody know how much water you should drink? Anyone? Excuse me? Okay, here's the formula. You want to take your body weight. How much water you should drink is basically half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're 150 pounds, you should drink about 75 ounces of water a day. Okay, and if I have anybody in pain, I want to make sure that they're going to get enough water. Does that all make sense? Okay, let's see, I don't know where we are in time. So my book here, this is my 8th book, and again, it's about all about how to get out of pain naturally without drugs. And so anybody else have any areas of chronic pain or imbalance? Anyone else? Cassie, I saw you looking at a friend.
Just messing with her.
Excuse me?
I'm just messing with her.
Okay, you're just messing with her.
another volunteer for the kyphosis or forward movement.
Yeah. Okay, may I take a volunteer? Okay. I'm gonna pick you again. Okay, so you were very kind to come down, and take your hat off just so we can look at you more easily. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, one of the things that I do when I'm working with somebody in pain is I look at them. All right. So I want you to just turn around, and face the class. All right. All right. And I'm going to give you a compliment. You're not too bad with what I'm going to look at, okay? But you do have something that we pretty much all have, all right, which is forward head posture. So what I want you to do is turn sideways, face Karen. All right, now, the definition of good posture is the place and space where you're most biomechanically efficient. And most of us have forward head posture. And every inch forward your head is adds 10 pounds of pressure onto your neck. Okay? Yeah, and you're doing a good job. Now, can you see how his chest is forward? And you're better than the last guy I looked at. Okay? But what you do is you find this, and if I'm in my office, one of the things I'll do is I'll put sticky dots on people, you know, like those little dots that you get like at office supply stores, and I'll put a dot on the middle of their shoulder and the middle of their ear, okay? And you can see how his head is ahead of the shoulder. Can you see that? Yes? Okay. So there's a real simple exercise that you can do to help correct forward head posture. So I'm going to demonstrate this. And this is helpful for everybody who's got neck pain. So, may I teach you that exercise?
Sure.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand against a wall. And I'm going to get my feet about as wide as my hip bones. And I'm going to press my shoulders back. Now, a lot of people, they've got so much kyphosis going on and their chest is forward, their shoulders are away from the wall. So I'm going to have Chris stand against the wall and press his shoulders back against the wall. Then I'm going to have him bring his right foot in front of the left foot. I'm going to have both feet shoulder width apart, and I want you to lean away from the wall. So the only thing that's on the wall is the back of your head. I'm going to have you make a fist and bring your chin one fist distance from the sternum, and then I'm going to have you peel your shoulders back. Okay? And then when you're done, I'm going to have you bend your knees, pull away from the wall, and then your head will be on straight. For me, it's the first time ever. Okay, so stand against the wall. Get your heels all the way against the wall. Okay, I admire you. You're back in school at age 40.
Yeah.
Were you in the military?
I was.
What branch of service?
Air Force.
Good for you. How many years did you serve our country?
16.
Okay. And being compassionate, did you have any injuries as a serviceman?
They were all everything that I mentioned was service related.
Okay, so, you know, we all need to take a moment to give thanks to Chris because he served our great country and his body is experiencing pain from everything that he did. He literally sacrificed to the level of pain in his body. So everything that we can do to help him so that the rest of his life he feels better, you know. All right. Okay, and I admire you for being back in school. All right. Now, what did you do in the Air Force?
I started as a aircraft mechanic, and I was a recruiter, and then I worked for the command staff.
Okay. All right. Now, can you see how even as he stands, his head is not against the wall? Can you see that? All right. Now, I want you to bring your right foot in line with your left foot. Okay, and then bring your left foot parallel. All right, good. Now, I want you to get only the back of your head against the wall. The back of your head, get the rest of you off the wall. Now, make a fist, okay, and bring your foot, yes, okay. Now, I want you to relax your hand. Now, press your shoulders back, lift from your belly button towards the crown of the head, and you're going to be there for 90 seconds. So this is an exercise It's harder than it looks, isn't it? Isn't it harder than it looks?
It is.
It is, it's way harder than it looks. You go, oh, you're just leaning against the wall. Well, he's literally adjusting his head, okay, and so you're gonna keep breathing. So you were in the military for 16 years, right?
Right.
Okay. and that, so again, a lot of our servicemen, they really sacrifice their bodies, their minds, their souls in order to serve us. So those of us who are studying exercise science, everything that we can do to help these gentlemen and ladies feel better, you know, it's part of what we can do to give back for everything that they've contributed to us. And what are you studying now that you're in school again?
Exercise science to go into physical therapy.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So, and you know, what's really interesting about studying exercise science is the more we learn about it, we can learn about how to take better care of our own bodies and our families and our friends, and you know, we can become this wealth of information and help everybody around us. So what motivated you to study exercise science?
Just all the physical therapy that I went through.
Yeah. How many years of PT did you go through?
Let's see. 14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. So he has a lot of personal experience. So he knows how much physical therapists can help people. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to bend your knees and gently pull away from the wall, but keep your head on straight. Turn, and I want you to walk that way. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
It feels weird.
It feels weird. Yeah, so he just literally gave himself a major neck adjustment. I want you to keep breathing and keep walking. So share with everybody, how does your neck and head feel different? Keep walking.
It's almost feels lightheaded. I feel like I'm leaning that way.
Yeah, you feel like you're leaning back that way.
Yeah.
Feel lightheaded? Okay. Can everybody see how he's much more upright? Yeah? Okay. So that's an exercise that you can do to correct forward head posture. So when you have anybody with neck and shoulder problems, you want to, instead of just giving them a bunch of neck exercises first, you have to correct the cause. So as I talked to the previous class, so if I've got somebody and they've got kyphosis, okay, and then I just do a bunch of neck exercises with them, I'm not really helping them because I'm not correcting the primary cause, right? All right, so maybe keep using you as an example.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so tell me where else you hurt?
What?
Where else do you hurt?
Thoracic soul.
Excuse me?
Thoracic spine and knees. A lot of pain in the knees.
Okay, a lot of pain in the knees. Okay, all right. I don't necessarily have the equipment that I need. Does anybody have a hardback book in here? Nobody uses books anymore. Okay.
Catherine, I may. Let me check.
Okay, so we can, there's a series, there's actually two, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay, so it's not ideal, but it will work. So, I'm going to teach you some exercises that will help get your knees better. And I'm going to demonstrate it first. Okay? Now, what I would usually use is a yoga block, okay? And so I'm going to get up here, and again, it's not perfect, but I'm the artist. I've taught yoga for 23 years. I'm flexible. So I'm going to put a belt, a yoga belt, around my gastrocnemius. Anybody know what your gastrocnemius is? Yes. Right, you have the fatty muscle in your calf, the round one. So I'm going to put this is actually not perfect. Like I said, it's not. It will do. So what I'm going to do is, again, usually I want to have a block between here. This is actually a bit too wide. What's this? Well, it's not really. I want you to visualize a block between your knees. And I'm going to be here, and this is an isometric exercise. Does anybody know what an isometric exercise is? What's an isometric exercise? What is it? An isometric exercise is where the muscles are working but not moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my toes straight up, and I'm going to push as hard as I can to the right and left. I push so hard that these muscles right here, the fascia lata, get activated. All right? And you're going to push as hard as you possibly can, like you're trying to split the back belt for 60 seconds. Okay? All right? Now, have you lost the cartilage in your knees?
Some,
So, okay. So come over here. Put it there. And again, we don't have a block, but you're going to visualize that he has a block. All right? And we're going to put this belt. This is one of the exercises in my book. I'm going to slide it up so that it's here. And then I need you to have your feet, hip bones apart. Okay, have your toes straight up. Now I'm going to tighten this belt as hard as I can get it. Okay, got it? Okay, now I want you to sit up, sit up
I
straight.
can't.
That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. He's doing great. Yeah. I have tremendous respect for the police and the military because if it wasn't for them, God only knows where we'd be. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
You're going to push as hard as you can. Like, I want you to give it a +10 effort, right, for 60 seconds.
Okay.
Ready?
Just outward.
Just outward. Again, you're going to keep your toes straight up, and like you're going to split the belt as hard as you can. Okay, you ready?
Oh.
Okay, okay, go. As hard as you can. Now, keep going. The muscles are working really hard. Now, when he's doing it correctly, the fascia lata muscles are going to get activated. So you feel this right all the way up here?
I mean, I feel it in my hips.
Yep, good. Do you feel these muscles working? Do you feel the fascia lata, the outer thigh muscles working?
Sure.
Push harder. Push harder. Push harder. Split the belt. Split the belt. Split the belt. Keep going. Keep breathing. You got 30 seconds. Split the belt. Split this belt. Go, go, go. Push, push, push. Keep breathing. It's harder than it looks.
Oh my God.
Okay, split the belt. Split this belt. Okay, and you can see this. His muscles are shaking. That's actually a good thing. He's really working. Keep breathing. You got about 10 more seconds. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale, don't hold your breath. Okay, relax. Great job. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to slide the belt off. I want you to come off the table and I want you to walk around. I want you to walk around and tell me how your knee feels. How do your knees feel?
Just better.
Better, okay? And how much better do your knees feel?
I mean, I don't feel them.
Okay, do you don't feel them? Okay.
That sounds silly, but my legs feel jelly.
Okay, and so is the pain in your knees 50% better, 80%
I
better?
don't feel it.
Okay, so it's 0 pain. Okay, all right, now I'm going to teach you the next exercise. And a lot of people hurt their knees. Has anybody in here ever hurt their knees? Yes. What did you do to hurt your knees?
I just played a lot of basketball.
Yeah, a lot of basketball. Yeah, all that turning. Okay, so let me teach you your next exercise that you're going to do. So, and these two little exercises they're gonna change your life. So what I usually do, and I'm the art of, I'm a big believer in improvising. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate this exercise. Years ago, I hurt my left knee, and I can't remember what I know I was moving. That's what I was doing. Now, the best thing to use is a blanket. But if you don't have a blanket, you can have a rolled up yoga mat. But you want something soft, okay? Like not hard, but soft. And I'm going to put the rolled up blanket like right here, not behind my knee joint, but above the knee joint. You understand? Now, can you see how that's above the knee joint? Okay, can you see it? Okay, and then this other knee is bent. I'm working this leg. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mash the back leg down. Again, as hard as I can. Count of 3. 1001, 1002, 1003, relax. Contract, and I'm drawing from my kneecap towards my hip, contract, 1001, 1002, 1003, relax, like that, okay? So your turn, come up to this way. Again, this is not a deal thing for me to do. So just doing that first exercise for 60 seconds, all your knee pain went away, right? Okay, now I want you to bend this knee. Now, and it's really important that this toe is straight up, and this is above the knee joint, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now, contract, 1001, 1002, 1003, and then release it. So, continue. So he's going to contract for a count of 3, and then release it. 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003, release it. So, anyway, I was moving, and so for me, I was picking up on and carrying a lot of heavy boxes, and then I hurt my knee. And the thing is that when you hurt your knee, like a lot of joints, you got to do it longer, 1001, 1002, 1003, release it. When you injure connective tissue, it takes a year to heal connective tissue. And just like I tell people, like if you wanted to build a house, you wouldn't come over the next day and go, where's my house? It takes a long time to heal connective tissue. So when you can do exercises that help alleviate the pain, you're going to alleviate some of the discomfort while that connective tissue is healing. Okay? Okay, good job. All right, now. So now you're going to bend this knee. Now do the other side. Both knees are they both bad? They're both bad. They're both bad. All right, so, okay, and it's, okay, good. So 1001, 1002, 1003, release it, continue. So he's doing these exercises. So the first exercise, after he did it for 60 seconds, he could feel no pain. And now we're going to do this one. So frequently when I'm working with people with knee pain, I will alternate these exercises until there is no pain. And I had a client in my office recently, and she's literally lost all the cartilage in her knees, but just by, so there's no connective tissue left. And she needs an operation, but just by doing these 2 exercises, all her pain went away and she can function until she can get the operation. Does that make sense? So all these exercises that you all are learning, you're going to really help people in their overall quality of life. You're going to be a great physical therapist. You really are. I mean, people who've been through things, you know, they have a lot of understanding and compassion. Okay, hop off, and then walk around. And I want you to tell me what your knees feel like now.
Neutral.
Neutral, like there's no pain, right? Nope. Okay, so 3 minutes. You can do it at any time your knees hurt, just do those exercises for 3 minutes. Pretty cool, huh? All right, how much more time do we have?
We can go ahead and wrap up, but can you plug your website, contact
yeah.
information? Yeah, before we leave. Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Thank you for everybody. So my name is Catherine Carrigan. I'm the author of 8 books. And basically what I do is teach people how to get out of pain naturally, without drugs. Now, doctors are our friends. My dad's a doctor, my brother's a doctor, my grandfather's a doctor, my uncle was a doctor, my great-grandfather was a doctor. But sometimes we've had a lot of drugs and surgery and it still doesn't work, and that's where you come to see me. So anything that can be done naturally, that is what I teach people how to do. So you can go to my website, CatherineCarrigan.com. I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter and learn even more about how to heal yourself naturally. UnlimitedEnergyNow.com is my second website. And I'm the host of the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I have lots of radio shows where I interview experts from all over the world, how to get better naturally. If you go to unlimitedenergynow.com, you're gonna find a bunch of free recipes there, healthy recipes, and you're gonna find free videos, all kinds of exercises. Yoga exercises, Qigong exercises, gym exercises, and there's also lots of free downloads. So I tell people, if you go to Unlimited Energy Now, it's kind of like an encyclopedia of natural healing, and do 10% of what I tell you, you will get incredibly healthy. And so thank you so much, and I really highly encourage you all to keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to end up helping a lot of people, and it's very rewarding work.